the Study UK Alumni Awards How to Apply webinar. Lovely to have you here. Before we get started, you will have seen a pop-up, I think, that we are going to be recording this session. Now, first, let me introduce myself. I am Sarah Beresford, the Study UK Alumni Senior Manager, and I'm joined today by Dorota Drajcevic, the Study UK Alumni Awards Manager. Please also note that everything you see here today is available on our website, and the presentation and recording will be circulated after this call. Please also note, I know there have been some questions around this. This is not a scholarship opportunity. So if you have joined in the hope of learning about scholarships, this is not the call for it. Okay, so let's move on to what we're going to cover today. As you can see, we will go over the awards themselves, why you should apply, if you're eligible or not, the 4 award categories, and what makes a strong application, what the judges are looking for. Please note myself and Dorota are not part of those judging panels. There will also be time for questions and answers at the end. So please put your questions in the chat on the right-hand side, and hopefully we'll be able to cover all of your queries today. That is also our official inbox email address there. So please send any questions you may have to that email address at any time. Thank you. Right, what are the Alumni Awards? Since you're on the call, you've probably done some research, but I wanted to give you all a bit of background. This is the 10th year of running the awards, and the aim is to find and celebrate the significant impact you have all made to your professions, communities, and countries. Oh, sorry, somebody's taken control of the presentation. Okay, I'm gonna keep control. Yeah, so the awards find and celebrate the significant impact you have made on your professions, communities, and the countries due to the higher education you received in the UK. We really want to hear about the inspiring stories of the impact your UK education has had on you and the community and country you live in. This is really what we want to hear about you, from you, what you have achieved, and how it can inspire the next group of students looking to study internationally. Well, why should you apply? Okay, so you have the chance to raise your national and international profile through various social media campaigns that we run locally and globally. So that is on the social media side of things, but you also have the chance to attend in-person events at a country level where VIP guests and prominent people will be in attendance, prominent people in their fields, local ambassadors, other UK alumni, as well as previous award winners and finalists. It'll also give you a chance to get connected with the alumni network in your country. Also, if you are successful on a global level, then your story will be shared in a 7-month social media campaign. This is a global campaign to raise your profile internationally. And then the 4 global winners, that's 1 winner per category. We have 4 categories. They will be invited to the UK for professional development opportunity. So you will have the chance to reconnect with your universities, as well as join our Study UK team at an awards event with other VIP guests in attendance. And it also really is an opportunity for you to share your successes on a bigger scale. Okay, so what is the process? Well, this graph illustrates the process. At the moment, we have just finished the soft launch phase, celebrating our current global finalists in a global digital campaign, raising their profile and creating awareness for this round of the applications. From there, we have moved on to the core, opening. So that is the phase that we're in at the moment. And that is when all your applications will come through our portal. So you will submit your application on our portal. All applications every application that is submitted goes through various stages of scoring and judging. So first of all, your application will be scored by an external agency. It will then be scored by the country judging panels. And at the same time, the information that you submit will be verified by the higher education institution you were enrolled at. And then if you look at the first light blue circle, those are when the country ceremonies take place, and this is where the finalists and winners are celebrated in a face-to-face event. We then move on to the global awards. So the scoring and judging has been happening alongside the national scoring and judging, but the celebration happens after the national awards. And this is where we have a digital celebration of the 28 global finalists, which is what I was referring to earlier. And then finally, we announce the 4 global winners who are invited to the UK to reconnect with their institutions, develop their networks, and join our UK team for a celebratory event. This slide just shows it in a slightly different way of what happens on both the national and global level once your application is submitted. And I'll go into more detail on the next 2 slides. So first, we are going to look at the national awards. Okay, so how does it work? As mentioned before, the first step is to submit your application online. All applications are scored by our external agency against the selection criteria, which we will look at later. Hi, if you've just joined, we can go over some of the previous slides, but we're going to just first finish the presentation. At the moment, we're just looking at the national awards and how the process works. So the first step is to submit your application online, and then all the applications that come through are scored by our external agency against specific selection criteria, which we will look at later. And then the local judging panels will select the finalists and winners who are celebrated across the local media channels. Then moving on to the global awards. So who will go through to the global awards? First of all, is a good question. So if your country is hosting a ceremony, then only those who are have been shortlisted will go through to the global awards, and all those who were unsuccessful will not be considered any further. The reason for this is those applications will have already been through the various stages of review. So that's by our external scoring agency, the central UK team, and as well as your country teams. And then all the applications from countries where there won't be a national ceremony, those applications will go into the global awards and then go through the same scoring and judging process as those at national level. So to be clear, each application goes through the same scoring and judging levels. It just happens at different times because the national awards are held before the global awards. So that's really the difference. Is your country hosting an award ceremony? These are all the countries hosting a ceremony. So please, take a look, see if a country is hosting. The dates are next to the countries themselves. Some of them still just need to be confirmed. Please note the dates can change, and we will update everyone if they do. They can change just due to various circumstances that happen in country. If your country is not here, then they are not hosting a national ceremony, but please don't let that deter you. Please still apply, as you will be eligible for our global awards. Okay, so who can apply? So this is really about eligibility. We will have some time at the end of this presentation to answer your questions. So if we are unable to, if we're unable to answer your question on this call, please do send us an email, which I think Dorota has put in the chat and which is also on this presentation. So these awards are open to UK alumni who are resident in any country outside of the UK and who have studied within the last 15 years. So that's between 2008 and 2023, but you have to have graduated already from a recognized body at degree level or above. There are more details on the slide once you click on the links. And again, this will be made available to you so you can look at it in further detail. It is also important to note that if you study through transnational education, you need to have obtained a full degree level qualification. If you just did some research in the UK as part of your postdoc, then you're not eligible for the awards. But if you studied and were awarded a PhD within the last 15 years, then you are eligible to apply. Okay, so please look at this slide carefully. It's very important that you just note where you fall, so if you're eligible or ineligible. Now, moving on to the categories themselves. There are 4 categories that you can apply to. The 4 categories are science and sustainability, culture and creativity, social action, and business and innovation. It is important to note that you can only apply once and only apply to one of the categories. So you need to choose the category wisely, as some of your work could fit into more than one category. That does happen. It is quite commonplace and a question that comes up a lot. So how you make the decision of which category to apply for, basically you need to base it on what is most relevant to your work. But also just to let you know that if your application is successful at a certain level, then the judges can move your application across to a different category if they think it suits it better. And again, in this slide, there are links to profiles from previous winners and finalists, so you can get inspired by those and get a deeper insight into the wide range of alumni we are currently celebrating and have done so in the past too. So here are the 4 award categories in more detail. So science and sustainability. This is about recognizing alumni who have distinguished themselves through their career and achievements in the world of science and sustainability, and who can demonstrate the impact and scale of their achievements in their profession and beyond. There are some areas of work there on the slide, but please note it's not limited to those, but they could include climate change, clean energy, medicine, sustainable cities and communities, engineering, industry, and construction. And then the Culture and Creativity Award is about recognizing alumni who have carved a career for themselves in arts and culture. We are looking for individuals who can demonstrate their artistic ingenuity, influence, and creativity. Again, areas of work could include, but are definitely not limited to, art, arts design, humanities, traditional media, music, video, TV, sports, and online content and audiovisual media creation. So that could be blogging, vlogging, for YouTube and other social media platforms. And then our Social Action Award is about recognizing alumni who have made an exceptional contribution and commitment to creating positive social change and improving the lives of others. Areas of work could include, but are definitely not limited to, education, peace and justice, and reducing inequality, poverty and hunger, and broader humanitarian work or work for social good. The Business and Innovation Award is about recognizing alumni who are active in initiating and contributing to innovative or creative new ideas. solutions, or business opportunities that have the potential for growth. Areas of work could include, but are not limited to, entrepreneurship, business, technology, and finance. And again, please remember, you can only apply to one category and you can only apply once. You can only submit one full application. And if the judges feel, if you submit it to social action and they feel it better suits business and innovation, then they can move it there. Just going to have some water. Okay, so the application process. We did speak a little about this earlier, about what happens to your application. And again, first things first, please read the eligibility criteria carefully and only apply if you meet the criteria, because your application won't be accepted. Otherwise, it will get sifted out in the first round of scoring. The application form itself can be found on our Study UK website, and this is the only way to apply. Please note that the call closes on the 22nd of October, so that is the deadline. So please, you can spend time over the next couple of weeks changing your answers and just improving your application, but please do make sure that it is with us by the 22nd of October. Okay, and then a good way to a good source to support you with your application is you can reach out to your higher education institution who you studied with in the UK, and they can support you in writing a good quality application. You can also contact our team for any technical advice, but we can't help you write your application. Okay, so please do take note of that. And please do reach out to your universities. We do engage with them. They are aware of the awards, so it wouldn't be new information to them, and I'm sure they'd like to support you. And then, as I mentioned, you can go back into your application. So this, if you've started your application and then decide that you're not quite ready to submit it, you can then, there's a save and resume button. So you can save the application, and maybe you want to take it away and think about your answers to the long form questions. So you can use that option, and you will get sent a link to your email address that you've given the form. Sometimes it does go into your spam, so please do check your spam folder for that link in case if you can't find it. You definitely will have been sent one, so please do check your spam, and then you can go back in and complete your application. What some people also do is complete it offline. So particularly once you've gone through the form and have seen all the questions and some of the other details that we need to ask you, then you can take the questions away, develop your answer, and then resume your application and put that information in. Okay, now moving on to scoring and shortlisting. So I did speak about some of this earlier, but we're going to look at it in more detail. So what makes a good application? These are the judging criteria that each application is assessed against at each level of judging. Please take them into consideration when writing your applications, and make sure you address all of them in your application. This is what the judges are looking for. This is what they're going to be scoring and judging you against. Okay, so let's start with impact. It's really good to include tangible evidence. So that would be numbers reached by your impact on your work, something like how many lives your work has affected, and what has been the impact of that. And then also just any evidence of your tangible impact and the scale of your impact. And then also obviously of your work and anything that's been inspired by your UK education in your profession, your community, and your society. So really the world around you that you live in, and that you are making an impact on. Then looking at UK influence. So really, how does your UK education directly impact your work? What is it about the education you received in the UK that helped you with your success? And also the extent to which you can demonstrate what it was about your UK education experience in particular that helped you to achieve success. And then looking at media attraction, here they want to know, what is it about you and your story that will grab the attention of the local and global media? What is there to celebrate? What can you share? What can you share with us that will really resonate at a global or national and global level? Yeah, so will your story resonate with local and regional and national media in your country of entry on the national awards, and then for global and international media for the on a global level? And then also the potential to influence and inspire. I mentioned earlier that your stories are an inspiration to the next group of students wanting to study abroad. So make sure to include the reasons why you chose to study in the UK in your application, and the positive stories and experiences you can share since your studies here. The judges are also looking for the extent to which you and your story are likely to influence and inspire the next generation of prospective internationally mobile students in their country. So anyone looking to study internationally, those are that's the audience we are looking to see that you can inspire and influence them. And then they also take into consideration quality of the application. So we really want to hear your story. That is what this is about. We want to hear your story. And the previous 4 criteria, so impact, UK influence, media attraction, and the potential to influence and inspire. Those criteria really need to come through in your answers. And part of the quality is will be a well-written story that is succinct, so quick. It's able to in the short amount of space that is given, you will be able to tell your story well, make sure that it flows and is easy to read, and also try to make sure that there aren't any typos or anything like that. Okay. So these are 4 points to take away that we see a lot of. There are some more points. I've gone over quite a bit already, but these 4 in particular, please take them away with you. So definitely do tell your unique stories in a narrative form based on the assessment criteria. So that's what I was saying just now. Really look at the assessment criteria and weave that into your answers. And do mention relevant and specific details and experiences to help tell your story. And then do not, please do not just list your achievements without context or storytelling element. It doesn't give us an indication of your story and your journey, and that is what we're looking for. And then please also do not use web links. Don't just put in web links to your achievements or papers or anything like that, because the judges won't be able to consider these when assessing applications. The judges can only take into consideration what you have written in your answers. Okay, so please do take note of that. That is a common thing that we have seen coming through, and unfortunately those applications don't get far. Okay, so these are the 3 long form questions. These are the questions you need to answer, and in answering, you need to weave in everything that we have just spoken about. Please note that these questions are also on our website, and they are also on the form itself. So this is what I was speaking about. If you get to this part in the form and you want to just save save the form and work on your answers, then you can resume your journey on the application form and come back and put your answers in at a later stage, but before the deadline. There has been some feedback before from applicants about not having enough space to tell your story in I think 500 words. I think slightly different for each of them, but I promise you there is enough space to tell your story. You just need to be able to tell it well. And this is where your universities could support you in writing a successful application. So please do reach out to them. And of course, not just your university, anyone else around you who may support you and be able to help you tell your story. Please do get other people involved and have them look over your application. All right, so what happens after you submit your application? First of all, it is important to note that everyone will be contacted at some point during the process. So you will know if you've been successful or not at any point. And then these are just the 4 main points and a bit of a timeline of what happens. So initially, when you apply, you will receive an immediate automatic confirmation that your application has been submitted and received. And again, please look in your spam if you don't receive that automatic confirmation, but that should come straight to your inbox. And then in November and December of this year, following the application deadline, that is when shortlisting will take place. And then between December this year and March next year, winners and finalists of any national level awards will be announced in your countries, but you will also be hearing from our team at what stage you have reached. And then from April onwards, that is when the 28 global finalists, followed by the 4 winners, will be announced across our social media channels. And that is when we will have the longer social media campaign announcing the finalists and then the winners. Okay, so that is what happens once you submit your application. Okay, and now we've come to questions and answers from you on the call. There aren't many of you today, so hopefully if you do have questions, we can cover everything. These are just some common questions we get. I have mentioned the deadline various times, and Dorota has put it in the chat. It is the 22nd of October, so please take note of that. And then the first question, I assume there is no age condition. There is not. There's no age limit. The only limit in terms of timeline is that you have to have studied within the last 15 years. So that's between 2008 and 2023. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. And you have to have graduated already. And thank you. So again, thank you very much for joining and for being here. I did mention at the start that this recording and the slides will be made available to you so that you have it to go through for anything that you need to reflect on. And again, if you have any questions or require additional support, please contact our team, and the address is in the chat as well. But let's go back to questions and answers. Dorota, hi, do we have any specific questions in the chat?
Yes. So Matluba is asking, I'm an ESP, so that's English for Specific Purposes teacher. Is there any category I can apply to?
Yeah, there should be a category that fits everyone. So I'm going to go back to the categories. So, I mean, Social Action Award could be one of them. It all really does depend on the type of work you've done and the impact you've had. Culture and creativity, perhaps, but maybe look at the Social Action Award. So that's for alumni. who have made an exceptional contribution and commitment to creating positive social change and improving lives of others. So that could be and a category that you would want to submit to and look into. But yes, there will be. Please don't be put off if you don't think you completely fit into one category. Again, just choose one that you think best speaks to your work, and then if the judges, when they are scoring them, feel that it's better suited to another category, they will move it across. So there is another level of eyes on that. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Sarah. And we're still waiting for, yes, some participants are still typing in the chat, but in the meantime, I do have a couple of questions that came through to the inbox that I think might be useful for others. So there's one, do I need to choose if I'm applying for a national or global award in my application?
Thanks, Dorota. Good question. The answer is no, you don't need to choose. Everyone applies in the same way and through the same form. And then just based on your country of entry, and again, your country of entry, please select, it's not necessarily where you're living now, and it could be that, but it's where the majority of the impact of your work that you are telling us about, where the impact has taken place. So that would be your country of entry. And then, so let me go to the different countries taking place. Here we go. So say, for instance, you are from Brazil and you've chosen Brazil in your application form. We will filter that out, and then your application will go be put towards the Brazilian national awards, and then if you are successful at the Brazil level, then you also go to global level. But we manage that. You don't need to choose. We manage that ourselves. Hope that's clear.
Thank you, Sarah. And then another question is, if I become a global winner, when does the UK visit take place for global winners?
Thanks, Dorota. Good question. That happens in the May of the following year. So let me use the previous winners as an example. So last year they would have submitted. So they would have submitted this time last year. And then in April we start. So for you, it will be April of 2024. We start to announce the finalists and the winners. And then we announce the 4 winners in September 2024. And then they are invited to the UK for their professional development trip in May 2025.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And just one more for now. Is there a word count limit for the answers in the 3 long form questions? Is there sort of a recommended length for the answers?
There is, sorry, I can't remember exactly what it is now. I think it's around 500 words. And once you start the application form itself and you get to the 3 long form questions, it does actually it does tell you. I just want to go to the questions themselves. So these are the 3 long form questions, and there is a word limit, and it does indicate it on the application form itself. So that's where that information is. And again, I promise you there is enough space in there to tell your story. You just need to maybe just work on it a little bit, and then once it's ready and everything is in there, you can submit before the deadline.
It's brilliant. Thank you. And that's all the questions that we have for the moment.
Okay. Anyone on the call, if you want to unmute yourself, you can ask us a question. You can raise your hand, or you can put anything into the chat box on the right-hand side. This is now your opportunity to ask us questions. It is a smaller group, so anything you want to ask us now.
Hello, Sarah.
Please. Hello.
May I ask a question? Hi.
Please.
I have written earlier about I'm asking the my eligibility. So I'm speaking from Uzbekistan. So it's Central Asia, and I'm an ASP teacher, English for specific purposes. I teach medical students. So I don't find anything suitable for myself. What can you suggest? To what award can I apply to?
In terms of the categories?
Yes.
Okay, let's. Sorry, my slide isn't moving. So you teach medical students? Was that correct?
Yes. Yes, I
So
do. Yes.
maybe science and sustainability. So we've got so areas of work could include, it says there, climate action, clean energy, medicine. Would that
is there anything related with education or teaching?
so again, just depending on what it is exactly, but it could be social action award. But also just a note to everyone, that is where the majority of the applications come through. So if you feel it does better suit perhaps science and sustainability, then that might be something you want to consider. And again, if the judges feel it's better suited to another category, they will move it.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. Okay, Dorota, is there anything else in the chat?
Not at the moment. We've covered everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm not going to keep you if you don't have any more questions. I just want to say thank you very much for joining today, and thank you for the questions. And I really look forward to receiving your applications. I also just wanted to note, you probably did see it because you applied for this webinar and did attend, but there are 2 other webinars. I'm going to get it wrong, but they are in a couple of weeks time, and then also about a week before the application deadline closes. Sometimes it is helpful to attend one or both of them because people ask other questions, so you might learn something from them. It's not necessary, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. Okay, and if you do want to, then please register for those. So I'm going to leave it at that, and just thank you very much, and please send us any questions you have in the meantime, and otherwise good luck, have fun writing your stories, and we look forward to receiving them. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.